Welcome to This is Football. Another beautiful Tuesday night. A sad weekend if you are an Inter Miami fan. A crazy weekend across the entire MLS. But I know what you guys are here for. You guys are here for the news that I promised, the news that we promised earlier today. So let me bring him on. None other than our wonderful and my wonderful co-host Nico Bravo, who has the news that everybody is here to hear.
What's up? What's up? What's up, Danny? How's everything going?
Good, man. How's it going over there, man? Everything good?
Yeah, it's going. Can't complain, Good weekend. Well, soccer wise, I don't know if it was a good weekend or not, but
It depends. I mean, MLS fan, maybe, EPL fan, definitely.
EPL fan, yeah, definitely. We're doing good. At least my team, Liverpool. We're doing all right. Unfortunately, not in the Champions League, but hey, Champions League is back, man. Champions League is back, baby.
It is. It is. We're gonna get into that. I have a couple things to talk through. I have a few names that I want to talk through. I'm wearing a jersey today because of an incredible game today. I want to
Oh,
stand up, and I'm
what a
gonna.
what a game. What a
I know.
finish.
I know. I'm wearing it because of that finish. I was watching that game right before we came on live, so I'm dedicating this game to the goalkeeper from Lazio. Que
Yeah, talk about choke artist.
golazo!
Goal
Que
a lo 90,
golazo!
Atletico pulling it off again, dude. Getting scored on el 94 on a corner like that, almost like a Sergio Ramos type of goal, or by the goalie this time.
Oh, that's a Simeone special, huh? Simeone special. That's just
Simeone
how it
loves
happens, huh?
Simeone loves that. Simeone loves to do that, man.
He loves to do that. But I mean, you know, incredible game or incredible like banger there in the 90th. I just want to say his name. I was looking it up. My bad because tried to remember it earlier and I couldn't. But Provedel. This episode is dedicated to you, Papa. This episode is dedicated to Provedel, el arquero del Lazio. Qué golazo que metió. So
Unfortunately, probably nobody has them in fantasy, in UCL fantasy. So I'm not sure if anybody's gonna get those points.
I'm pretty sure everybody has Ter Stegen. I was looking at a lot of the teams in our league, and a lot of people have the same players. A lot of people have the same players. So
There's a little bit of hostility there from Steve Munoz, to Lazio. I understand that
yeah,
he's an Inter fan, but come on,
yeah. There's
come
no
on.
there's no need for that. I mean, hey, this weekend we celebrated a wonderful Jewish New Year. Shana Tova to all my Jewish friends out there. Celebrating a new year, bringing in the new year this weekend. So come on, Steve. There's no room for that type of nonsense here in the chat. Let's keep it rated R, but not that type of R.
All right, let's get
Uh,
going, bro. Let's get going. Let's get
let's
going to
go, bro.
this week.
I want the news, bro. I want the news first and first right now. Throw it out there for me. I know you tweeted it. Tell the world.
All
Tell
right,
them
let's
what
do
it's about.
this. Let's do this. All right. So there was a lot of speculations throughout this week, mainly because, last Saturday, everyone thought that Messi was going to travel. He did not travel to Atlanta. As a matter of fact, he didn't even play. He was in the academy games watching the academies play against Weston. So everyone was like, what's going on? He came back from Bolivia, from our Argentina trip. And there's a lot of speculation saying, going around that, he trains, but he doesn't train. Does he play? Does he not play? Is he fatigued? Is he injured? Well, here's the news, Danny. Lionel Messi is good to go, and Lionel Messi will make his start tomorrow. The player would actually start the game tomorrow, so expect Lionel Messi to play 70 minutes or even 90 minutes. He's going to be from the go. Tata Martino is going to trust uh, his word, the player's word, and the player says he's ready to play. However, this is what's going to happen. We do not know if he's going to travel to Orlando for the weekend.
And
Okay.
and I'm gonna get into that because Orlando is, El Clásico, whatever. So
Correct.
we will get into that. I'm happy that you gave me that news. I will be out there tomorrow. I'm taking my wife. I promised her she was gonna see Messi. I'm not gonna lie. I was nervous the last couple of days. I was texting you and like, hey, any
Yes,
news?
yes.
Any
So
news?
for those
And
so for those who are watching, if you see tickets that are, I think right now there's tickets for like $70, $60, I think online, right?
yeah, yeah. The earlier
So
today
that's
they were
not
like
bad, right?
$85. Yep.
Correct, correct. So $85. So go out there for $85. That's a bargain. You're gonna see Messi for at least 70 minutes.
Yeah. So Steve there says he says maybe 70 minutes versus Toronto tomorrow, and then at Orlando maybe play 30. Maybe you don't know. Again, that's gonna be up to Messi how he feels and how what Tata thinks. Of course, today they released a message that essentially they're gonna prioritize the U.S. Open Cup, and I think that is
Absolutely.
that is 100% the right call for the team. You always prioritize a trophy over anything, and I'm 100% on the side of the team. I think that's the right move for them.
Yeah, yeah, and not only is it the right move, but also there's a long way to go. We talk about the team making a push to the end to make the playoffs, but even getting into the playoff doesn't guarantee you that they're going to win the league. Because once you're in playoffs, you start facing off the best teams in the league. You start facing Cincinnati away, you start facing Nashville away, and those are teams that Miami didn't beat. You know,
Right. That's correct. That
so
is that is correct.
so
And
they did tie them and they did beat them in the penalties. However, they have not beaten those teams. So
that,
until we see that,
well, and you bring up a good point, and I want to put it up there. But before I do, I want to show some of the pictures that we got from some of the folks that were out there at the practice today. We did get some beautiful, beautiful shots of Messi out there. Out there on the pitch. You can see right there playing here with Jordi Alba. So he was at practice today, kicking the ball around. But I wanted to
yeah,
put up, the standings over here because this is basically where we're at. In the East, Cincinnati's already clinched the spot, and Inter Miami can catch essentially DC United, Montreal, and maybe Nashville, who's at that 40 points. I think Columbus is already going to be through, but like you start talking about, you're going to get to start playing some of those teams that Inter Miami has not beaten, but
correct,
has been able to tie or has
correct.
had trouble to
So
beat.
so for the remaining schedule, I think the matchup that is huge, huge, huge is those two games against Charlotte. And the reason why I say that is because not only is Charlotte right there in the mix to making playoffs, but you could also cut 6 points away if you beat them both. If you beat them in
Absolutely.
both games, right?
Absolutely.
So I,
Absolutely.
I think I think that's gotta be the thought for the team. Yeah, it's good. It's important for the team to actually win it out. But I do feel, however, that they're thinking that they don't necessarily have to win out. And when I say that knowing that Messi might not even play against Orlando. And if Messi doesn't play against Orlando, they're probably thinking, okay, um, we can I wouldn't say we can afford to lose this game because they can't afford to lose any games at this point, but they can afford to tie a game away from home and then take care of business in the following games.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna put up the schedule, and I'm gonna give you my take because my take is very close to your take. And so this is what I think. I think you know the game tomorrow, Messi. If we're talking
Must
about the
win.
best situation, yeah, it's a must-win. Why? Toronto's at the bottom of the table. You need those 3 points, especially coming off of that disappointing, embarrassing loss on the turf field in Atlanta. Where we know Messi didn't go. He was eating some terrible pizza. Sorry, man. That
No, no,
that
no,
that
no, no,
that,
no,
that,
no,
that,
no,
pi-
no,
that,
no.
that pizza
Hold
in
on,
the
hold on,
back.
hold on, hold on,
I'm
hold on,
not.
hold on,
Hold
hold
on.
on, hold on.
I'm not gonna say that the pizza from Bancheros is terrible because I've eaten there. I think the pizza there is fantastic. I'm saying the picture that he took or that video. Hold on, bro. That was a
But,
little like
but there you go. Let me ask you this: is Messi known for taking good pictures?
no, absolutely not.
Then there you go.
He
And
should
there
have
you
asked.
go. The picture doesn't justify how good that pizza is.
Absolutely. No, no, no. I think he should have let Antonella take the picture if you ask me. But
There you go.
uh,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna put it back up there. And essentially, if I'm Tata, I'm thinking Toronto's a must win. Orlando is already basically in the playoffs. They're the second best team in the league overall in points, 50 points. You're not If you lose to them, it's not a direct competitor. So it's not
Yes,
like
yes and no, because Orlando is probably really, really sour at the fact that not only did they lose to Miami in the League's Cup, but Miami also won a trophy before they did. So I'm pretty sure Orlando's going to come, all cylinders for this game. They're going
and
to bring everything out and try to win and maybe cement themselves as to, maybe eliminating Miami from playoff contention.
yeah, yeah. So our good friend here, Chris from the Battered Heron, says Messi not playing tomorrow. I don't know if you're late or not, buddy. But
Chris,
Nico
Messi is
broke the
starting
news.
tomorrow. Messi is starting tomorrow, Chris. Don't worry about it. So if you have tickets, go. You're safe to go, brother.
No, he's going. We talked a little bit earlier. He's taking his daughter out there. So I'm taking my wife. So it's gonna be a nice get together out there. So getting back to the schedule again, those next two games right there, New York City FC, at home is another must
It's
win.
important. It's important you say that in between the Orlando and New York City game is
Well,
that
he has a
final
there's a
against
final.
Houston.
Right,
Correct.
right.
Correct. So we don't know how much the team is going to be stretched out in that final. Is it going to be a final where Miami, gets a lead early and they control the tempo of the game so that they can rest, or is it going to be a hard fought final where it's going to be decided at the end? So we
Ab-
don't know.
abs- Absolutely. I mean, I think you nailed it though. I think other than the Toronto, the New York City FC after that final, which is going to be a tough game. Chicago is a direct rival there to get
It,
into the
it, it,
playoffs. The
let me ask you,
Cincinnati
Danny,
game is a game that
is
you
that
lose.
is that Chicago game in between FIFA break again, or is it not?
So no, the Chicago game is before the FIFA break. The FIFA break will be affecting that October 18th game. That October 18th home game will be
That's
after.
huge.
Yeah, that'll be after a game that I think Argentina plays. Who's
Paraguay and Peru. They play
the
Paraguay at home and then they travel to Peru.
So the second game is going to be in Peru. So essentially, he'll be.
Correct.
We'll see if he doesn't play in Peru, depending on what happens. I don't know. Maybe we see a repeat, but I don't see him playing on the 18th, and so the team will have to rely on a team a secondary team that played against Sporting Kansas City and Atlanta um,
Correct. So
to
so
play that
let's
game.
go let's go back. So let's go back to September 30th. We said that September 30th, Miami should win against New York City, right? Because it's a home game. They're coming
Absolutely,
off. So it's a must and a should, right?
absolutely, 100%.
All right. Then we go to October 4th. They travel to Chicago.
That's right. They travel to Chicago to play your old buddy, Shirin Shakiri.
Sherdan Shakiri. Okay. Do you think they win that game?
I don't know. It's a tough game. You're playing, I believe at Soldier Field. At least it's grass. If Messi plays, it's a winnable game. They're not, as anything great. They're not playing beautiful soccer right now. As everybody knows, all the teams that are ahead of us have given up points the last couple of weeks. So, you know, I think it's a winnable game. I think the only game on the schedule that right now that you can say you can schedule as a game where Messi can 100% rest, or you can maybe take off, or maybe it's a game that you can win because they've already qualified, is the FC Cincinnati game. Why?
Okay. I can give you a picture on that one. And here's the thing. Here's Cincinnati that came off a semifinal in the U.S. Open Cup against Miami. When they qualified to the semifinal, and when Miami qualified to the semifinal, FC Cincinnati was looking at the game and they were saying, "We got this game. Miami's playing awful. Miami's last place." And then here comes Sergio Busquets, here comes Jordi Alba, and here comes Lionel Messi, and then they pretty much eliminate them, right?
Right.
All right. Here's a scenario. FC Cincinnati is. Can we see the table again?
Yeah, they're already qualified to the playoffs.
All right. They're already qualified to the playoffs. Who's second place again?
Second place is
Orlando.
Orlando.
Orlando, right? So they're a little far though. They're 8 points behind. But let's say they're in a scenario where Miami plays Cincinnati and Orlando is catching up to that first place, right? What if, and I'm just throwing it out there, what if Cincinnati realizes that Miami is close to that eighth spot and they want absolutely no business playing Miami in the first round of the playoffs? And they say, you know what? These final 4 games, we're resting all of our players. Let's try to get that second or third seed because we want no business playing. And by the way, this playoffs is different this year because you play a home away game, and then if it's still tied, you go on, you play on a neutral field. So you're possibly playing 3 games against a team on the first round.
That's right.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you get first place for the whole season and then you end up playing a Miami side 2 games, which if you're lucky enough, you can beat them, yeah.
Right.
But if you're not lucky enough, you get to play a 30 game against them and get eliminated. I don't think so. I think Cincinnati is going to be very, very aware of that. And I think that they might be looking into that and saying, you know what, we're traveling to Miami. It's one of the last games of the season. Let's throw out the subs. And if we have to lose this game, we lose this game. We don't really care about it.
Well, you got to be careful because this is the way that it works. So if you are seeds 1 through 7 in your conference, you qualify directly to what they call the round 1 best of 3 series. If you are the 8 or 9 seed, which is essentially what let's be real, what we think Inter Miami can qualify as, the 8 and 9 seed then face off against each other.
Correct. And then they will play the first
in
seed.
a wild card games. It's 2 games. It's a best of 3 again, and then they play the number 1 seed. So yeah, it could be a scenario where, like you said, Cincinnati might see
Cincinnati, dude. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. If Miami is right there on the verge of making either 8th or 9th seed,
nobody wants to be number 1.
Nobody wants to be number 1. Absolutely, no one wants to be number 1.
Yeah.
So I think that Cincinnati is going to look at that game and they're going to say, you know what? It wouldn't be a bad idea to rest a few players. Let's go back into that picture again.
Which one? To the
schedule.
The schedule picture?
Correct.
Yes,
so we go back into that game October 7th, right? Then the players leave. The players go away on international duty.
That's correct. Miami, and they have a break.
They have a break, and then Miami has to play those 2 games, right?
That's right.
Now, this past international break, Miami was without Benjamin Cremachi, Lionel Messi, Diego Gomez. Drake Allender stayed behind for the first game, right? Yeah, Drake Allender did play
for the first game. Yeah, I mean, if you want it, I got it right here for you, man.
Joseph Martinez. No, it's okay. There you go.
Are you kidding me, man? Hey, this is new. This is football productions, bro.
So out of all these players, Callender, Christoph, Messi, Cremachi, David Ruiz, Joseph Martinez, Diego Gomez, Robert Taylor, and Edison Ascona, we can say that probably maybe Benjamin Cremachi doesn't go for the next call-up.
Possibly,
but the rest are probably going, right?
Absolutely. The rest are in some sort of qualifying.
All right. How about I throw you this? What if Campana gets called up to the next international break? Because he's been playing really well.
He has.
So, and Ecuador doesn't seem like they have found a striker to actually step in when Ener Valencia is not doing well.
No, and Ener Valencia missed a penalty against Uruguay. He just didn't seem like you were saying, no estaba fino contra Uruguay.
At all.
And he hasn't really been, at all. He wasn't against Argentina either. Yeah, he's known for his quickness and stuff, but no está fino around the el área. And it's very, very possible, very, very possible that if Campana keeps this, this up, that they might call him up.
Yeah, they have called him, in previous times. So I don't see why not. I don't see why they shouldn't call him.
And just so you know,
the upcoming FIFA break.
Yeah, just so you know, they play in Bolivia on October 12th, and then they play at home against Colombia on October 17th. A game you expect if he's called up, he's gonna play. And so there's no way Campana would play that October 18th game. And you almost have to think, the MLS almost did this on purpose to Miami putting that game on that day. I mean, I understand that there's maybe no other days, but because the schedule is so filled up. But man, I mean, that's really killer to
Now,
to throw a
is
game on
that
the international break.
is that the official date game, or the 21st is the official date?
No. The 18th, we play the makeup game. Inter Miami plays the makeup game that they had to play for going to the Leagues Cup final against Charlotte at home. That's a makeup game. And then the 21st is the final game of the season. That's basically like a decision day, right? Decision day for
Correct.
the MLS, and that's the
Correct.
final day of the season. So that would be on decision day. Let's see if Messi doesn't play on the 18th because he's coming back from international break, and these players don't play. Would we see Messi on that Charlotte turf? And like I said last game, or sorry, last program, I think I didn't think he was going to play in Atlanta, but I thought he would play in the turf in Charlotte, if he needed to. If
Yeah,
they
he's
3 points.
he's playing on the 21st. Let's be serious. He's gonna play that game.
Unless they're out. Unless they're out.
Unless they're eliminated, he's gonna be playing that game. And I honestly think that they're gonna go into that game having a chance to make it. I don't know if they're gonna make it. I can't say that. I think right now it's a 50-50, honestly. But I do believe that October 21st, Charlotte against Inter Miami. I think that Miami is going to go in, with a chance to make playoffs. And I do think that they're going to go into the game with it, not only with a chance to make playoffs, but they're going to hold their own destiny.
Wow, that's some strong words. That's some strong words from you, and something new that we haven't heard from you in the last weeks. You've been I don't want to say a hater because you haven't been a hater,
No.
but you've been more of a realist. You've been
more realistic. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been more of a realistic person, saying, because of the points and all that. But look, everybody, wants to give you a big round of applause for jumping on the bandwagon. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. We appreciate you jumping on the bandwagon.
And the reason, and it's when I say 50-50, and the reason why I say that is because it's not only that I believe that Miami's going to get the results they need, because along the way there's going to be games where like for example in Orlando, I do think that they're going to either tie or lose that game.
Correct.
I don't think it's a must win. I think that other games are more of a must win rather than that one. But when I say 50-50 is because the teams that are ahead of Miami, they're not getting the results either.
Right.
All those teams are either tying or losing those important games. And when they play head to head against, for example, like the 9th against the 11th seed, or like the 12th against the 13th seed, they're tying those games. They're not really, winning.
Right.
So everyone's playing in favor for Miami.
That's what I'm saying. All the results are favoring Miami, and all Miami has to essentially just win or get points. And not do what they did against Atlanta, last week. And like we said, I mean, we analyze the schedule. We're not going to sit here and really talk through X's and O's of every single game, but like we said, they can afford to lose a couple of these next few games. The games that we could possibly expect them to lose would be the Orlando and the Cincinnati because of the placement in the table, and we expect them to go full on out against everybody else because they're essentially a direct rival to the club to get to the playoffs. So that's what both our expectations are for Inter Miami going into the final end of the season. But bro, why don't we talk a little bit about UEFA Champions League talk?
There we go.
A little sick a bit about this, but bro, before I do that, production has Socio's been there in the comments talking about something, saying that
I don't know what
they're not going to make it, bro. But production has a little.
Is his internet back?
I don't know, bro, but he's getting the booze from the crowd.
He has internet.
He said he has internet, but that he couldn't log in. I don't know what that means. So,
oh Lord,
bro, bro. He says he has internet, but he can't. He doesn't know how to log in.
I just don't. Yeah. I just don't think that he wants to log in because Arsenal's playing tomorrow for the first time in like 20 years. They're back in the Champions League, so I think he's a little nervous.
I know. But we had some crazy games today in the Champions League, and I'm gonna put them up here, and we can talk about them. That first game, I guess,
What a boring
kickoff.
snooze fest, man.
I'm
Milan
gonna say that.
Newcastle, dude.
And you talked about it, earlier in the over the weekend in the chat when we were getting hyped up for Champions League on Tuesday and all this. I think you even said it like I don't I don't think Newcastle's gonna do anything. I don't think they have what it takes to do anything in the
Nope.
Champions League. So and then you had Leipzig, with that 3-1 win expected over Young Boys, Barcelona handling Antwerp. Hey, I got a
Hey,
question.
man, Barca looks really good, man. Barca looks really, really good.
They do, man. I have Louis in my fantasy. I have a question though. If I pick a player and he's out, what happens? Do I get this
Y-
my bench go in?
You have two chances on your bench to sub that guy in. So
Oh,
you have two subs. You can make one of those subs in between
interesting.
today and tomorrow.
Good because I had Araujo starting. Obviously, he didn't play,
Oh, come
so
on. Come
you
on,
know,
man. Come on.
well,
You gotta do your reading, dude. Do your
you know,
research.
you're right. You're right. You're right. I was gonna do my research. I had the baby last night by myself. I let my wife go on a date with her sister, so I was being a good husband, and I couldn't read, bro. I put the baby to bed and I fell asleep myself. So,
Yeah.
but man, then we had Feyenoord with I think a surprising 2-0 win over Celtic.
I don't think it
Lazio,
was a surprising win. I don't think it's a surprising win. I think that Feyenoord is a really good team, man. Actually,
yeah.
not a team to make some noise in the Champions League, but I do see them, advancing in that group. They're
So
with Celtic, and Atletico and Lazio.
interesting call right there. And then of course we already talked about that Lazio Atletico, that thriller by the goalie from Lazio,
Yeah,
unbelievable header, bro. What a rocket! City handling business like always,
and
three
they were
one.
actually losing. They were actually losing at halftime. So
They were, but they handle business. Hey, and
yeah,
everybody in the fantasy league has Haaland as captain, bro. How about that? Everybody got
and then
10 points. 10 points for
and
everybody.
yep, 10 points for everybody. He didn't do much. Just had one assist, so I guess that counts.
Yeah, man, it counts for something. PSG with the 2-0 win over Dortmund. And then
I was
Porto.
surprised about that one actually. I thought that it was going to be another snooze fest because everyone had that group of death, with Milan, Newcastle, Paris, and Dortmund. I
Right.
did believe that, yeah, it's a group of death, but also it's a group of freaking boring teams.
It is, man. It is. But hey, let me tell you, that's one game that I watched, and my boy Manuel Ugarte, he was
Oh, here we go.
balling. And come on, I have to mention, he was balling in the middle, man. He had like 53 passes completed. I mean, he just balled. He had a great game. And then Porto again with the I think I'm not surprised that they beat Shakhtar
Yeah,
Donetsk 3-1.
it's really unfortunate for Shakhtar because they can't really make up ground when you play at home. You get behind, your fans get behind you, and it's almost like the 12th man on the field, right? So
Of course.
Shakhtar not being able to play at home for the last 3 seasons, because of the war, it's really unfortunate for them, because they have not only great fans, their stadium is loud, and they can't really use that in advantage.
Yeah, and we've heard Sergey talk about it sometimes in some of the the ruedas de prensa that he's had. He talks about the fan base and how great of a fan base that they had and that he was happy to have played there. So, but let's get into the games tomorrow, man. We have some pretty decent
Yes,
games tomorrow.
really good
You
games.
know, finally Champions League comes back to Turkey. We were in Turkey just a few months ago, and now it's back in Turkey. Galatasaray kicks off tomorrow against Copenhagen. I expect a Galatasaray win. You got Mauro
Same
Icardi there.
with Rezaha, Hakim
Yeah, man.
Ziyech.
I
They're
think
loaded.
it's one of the more. I think it's one of the better Galatasaray teams we've seen in the last maybe 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Even counting like those teams that had Snyder and Didier
yeah.
Drogba.
But they were past their prime. They got players here that are still in their prime.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you have that. I think probably the game of the day tomorrow might be that Real Madrid Union Berlin game.
No,
I think
no,
so,
no.
man.
You
I
can't
think
say
so.
that, man.
I
You
think
can't
so.
say that when you have a Bayern against Manchester United. You know,
Uh,
it's a rematch of the 1999 final, dude.
you're
Come
talking
on.
about you're talking about the team who's in 14th place in the EPL.
Hey man, it's still Champions League. You know, it's one of the great teams in in the history of the sport. You know, you
Come
gotta give.
on, bro. No, no, no. Even though, like I said, my team of the year was going to be Bayern. So
I'm excited to see Harry Kane. You know, play his first Champions League game for Bayern Munich. You know,
me
I
too.
think
Me
this
too.
year he breaks his curse. You know, I think this year he finally wins a trophy. I don't think it's gonna be the Champions League, but he finally wins a trophy.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And then finally we get to see El Fidel play with Benfica against Salzburg tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that game. I really like how how he played with Argentina against Bolivia, and I really like how he's been playing with Benfica in the last
He has
couple
more of a
games.
free role. He has more of a free role. I don't think that
Of course,
going to Juventus benefited him. You know, it didn't do really well on him. You know, I feel like being back in Benfica, it's a great thing for him. It's like home for him. You know, he feels comfortable there. So I think it's gonna be good. I do have
I,
him in my fantasy team as well, so I
I know
expect good things for him.
I saw that. I saw it. I was surprised that you picked them up. And then we have Napoli against Braga. Napoli, I think, is one of your surprise teams for this year. I think you picked
Correct.
to win the whole champions
I picked them to go to the final. I
to
picked them
go to
to
the
go to the
final.
final.
Correct,
Correct.
correct, correct. So I'm hoping my boy Mati Oliveira gets a start so I can sub him in there for my other boy and get some
He's
points.
gonna be a starter. He's a starter, so you should do that substitution after the show.
I'm gonna do it 100% after the show, and then we round out the day with Inter, Real Sociedad, and then
That's gonna
Sevilla
be a really
against
good game.
Lens.
I think that's gonna be one of the best games of tomorrow. Actually, Real
Yeah,
Sociedad is a very good team. Be careful with them. You know they have players like Take Kubo. That kid is fantastic, and Inter is one of the better defensive teams in the tournament. You know, last year
absolutely.
last year they were the best defensive team. They added some pieces this year, like the new goalie. Even though they lost Onana, they picked up Sommer. They were able to, keep important players like Bastoni. They were able to keep players like Varela, and then they added Fratesi, which I don't think he has been playing lately. But they also added Marcos Thuram, that I think is going to be a good player for them going
Ab-
forward.
Absolutely. And they got rid of, of a liability there in the back, or at least we've seen a liability in the back on Nana, who's been that
But he was
liability
good. But he was
he,
good for
last
them. He
season.
was
He
good
was
for them.
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
He was.
If you ask any Inter fan, they'll tell you, that he was a huge factor for them making the final. You know,
Absolutely.
if it wasn't
Absolutely.
for Onana, they would have made a final.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just hating because he's been absolutely disastrous this year for Manchester United, but who hasn't? The entire club has
It's
been a
I almost
disaster.
feel I almost feel like it's a curse. It's a curse. Every player that gets to United, are they either they get in trouble like Anthony, or they go into shambles like Onana, Mason Mount. You can start naming a few.
What about Pogba? Pogba, was balling
He
for
had his time. He had his
uh,
time.
he had a couple good years there, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, definitely that United has been the team where players go to die. I guess they've taken the place of Arsenal in that sense.
Yeah. Arsenal.
Who?
Okay.
Uh
Arsenal who? Nah,
so
let's talk about Arsenal. Don't be mean. Don't be mean to Socio, man. Come on. We can talk about Arsenal.
we
Arsenal's
definitely
finally
talk
back,
about
Socio.
Arsenal, bro.
Socio, I have Bukayo Saka tomorrow. I should have made him my captain. Maybe I can change it. I don't think you can change it, right? I'm not sure if you
I
can
don't
change your
think you
captain.
can after your captain played. I don't think you can change it.
I should have put him as my captain, honestly. I do believe that tomorrow Arsenal's gonna show up. Arsenal's gonna win 3-1 tomorrow.
3-1. Ooh. So, like we said, Arsenal back in UCL. They play PSV tomorrow. Bro, a couple of
Good game.
Americans on
Good game.
PSV, huh? Serginho Dest.
Americans, not only Americans, they also have Mexicans like Chucky Lozano. He's back.
That's right, Chucky Lozano. So it's gonna be a really interesting team. We don't know who we know. Socio is an Arsenal fan, but we also know that he roots for the U.S., El Salvador, Honduras, Colombia,
Saudi
Mexico, Saudi
Arabia.
Arabia. Right. So we don't know who he's going to be going for tomorrow. But hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully, he'll post some wild stories at the bar. I'm sure he'll be at the bar tomorrow with the
For
Miami
sure.
Gooners, huh?
For sure.
So
If you're gonna watch that game tomorrow and you wanna take a look at a player and say this kid is gonna be the future, look out for Johan Bakayoko. That kid is fantastic. He's gonna be one of those players that next season, a lot of clubs are gonna be looking at him and probably pay a lot of money for him.
talking about names, I want to throw a name out there for you, and I want to get your reaction. I want to get your reaction on Lamine Yamal.
What a kid. Whew. Oof, that kid is that you know we shouldn't talk much about him because and we go back into the chat when we say but we talked about Ansu Fati, that he was going to be this, he was going to be that, and then he ended up not being anything, and then now he's at Brighton, trying to restart his career. So maybe the same thing happens with him. But I do see a lot of like glimpses of greatness when I see this kid Lamine, man. When I see him, I'm like, holy crap, this kid has all the tangibles to become a great, great player.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to jinx him like they did to Ansu Fati, because I think Ansu Fati was a fantastic player coming out when he was 16, 17.
And he
And
still is. I think he still is. The
he just
unfortunate
had
part,
injury. He had injuries.
exactly. The unfortunate part for Ansu Fati is the injuries. Like unfortunately that takes a toll on a player. And it gives you a lot of setbacks. But I think that once he gets that rhythm of playing, once he's able to play a full season and then on, I think he's going to be back into being, the best Ansu Fati that we saw when he came out of Barcelona.
So you think De Serbi is gonna really
Yeah,
play a key role
yeah,
in
yeah,
his
yeah,
career?
yeah. He
Absolutely.
needed he needed to get out of Barca, honestly. He needed to get out, and maybe not out completely, which is great that he was actually loaned out. I think that he can come back and make an impact in Barcelona. However, he needed to get out to feel less pressure of having to do something with his career, because he
Right.
was he was in the spotlight immediately. He was in the spotlight at the age of 16.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
not every player responds well to those situations, and maybe he's one of them. Maybe he's one of those that needs that little extra time to actually cement himself as one of the great players. And I
Well,
think he can make and I think he can make that comeback.
we know one 16-year-old that could deal with the pressure and was able to
Oh
get
man,
there,
but
and was able to reach the mountaintop this past year. So, hey, it can be done, and we'll see if this kid Lamine can do something, because the kid he looks fire,
yeah,
unbelievable,
he's
that kid.
incredible. He's incredible. He's so fast too. He's so fast. I'm telling you, Barca has a lot of depth. I don't think they'll win the Champions League, but I do see them maybe making it far.
Absolutely. Well, you got to give a prediction on the Arsenal game tomorrow. I'm gonna give a prediction. I'm gonna say Arsenal 3-0. 3-0, 2 goals Saka, 1 goal Odegaard. That's my
Okay.
prediction. And then I'm
Okay.
gonna
So
give
three
my
one,
prediction
3-0.
and then I'm gonna give my prediction on the Inter Miami game tomorrow as well. Inter Miami is going to win. Toronto, man. Messi plays. I'm gonna say it's gonna be 5-0.
Whoo, 5-0. Damn.
Messi hat trick. Messi,
Damn.
Messi hat trick in 60 minutes. Ovacionado on his way out. And the other 2 goals, I'm gonna go with Busquets is gonna get a goal. I don't know why, but I feel like
Wow.
Busquets gets a goal, and the other one's gonna be ¿quién más? La Campana.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
So,
So I'm gonna go 2-0. Messi with 1 goal, and the second goal is Campana.
all right. So we both got Inter Miami wins. Definitely comment down there below while you're watching this show. Let us know what your predictions are. I want to do a giveaway one of these days where whoever the first person is that comments and gets it right, we'll give them something, whether something signed or some TIFF merch. I don't know. We'll do something. We'll talk about it. But
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe next episode we'll definitely do that. Uh, But man, hey, it was awesome to be with you again, Nico. I'm gonna be at the game tomorrow. If you guys see me out there tomorrow, I'll be with the camera. I'll be with the mic.
All
Let's get
right.
some word.
We get
Let's
some
get some
footage
words in.
tomorrow. We get some
Absolutely, we'll get some
footage. Will we get
footage.
a vlog? Maybe we get a vlog tomorrow, huh?
Oh, absolutely. We're gonna get a vlog. I have some VIP tickets, and I'll be sitting with La Familia, and I have some VIP
Oh,
tickets. So we will be
okay.
doing a VIP vlog possibly tomorrow. Let's see how it goes.
All right.
All
All
right,
right.
man.
Hope to see you
So
out there. All right.
absolutely, man. Like always, it's been a pleasure. Don't forget to follow us at all of our social medias at TI Football Podcast. Like always,
Subscribe, like.
like and subscribe. Hit the bell for the future, for all of our future content. Thanks for being with us. See ya.